All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle one of the most stressful parts of being a computer science student, trying to find assignment help that actually helps you learn and doesn't just, encourage you to copy-paste your way to a passing grade. We've all been there. You know the feeling. The code just won't compile, the logic is completely broken, and Stack Overflow has just become this endless maze of condescending answers to questions that aren't even yours. It's that moment of pure panic, where you just need a lifeline. And that's the real trap, isn't it? You type in, "help with my C++ project," and you're just flooded with options. When you're on a deadline, you don't have time to vet every single one. That's exactly what this explainer is here to do, cut through all that noise. So, let's start that late-night search together and figure out what you should really be looking for when you're desperate for help. Okay, so what do CS students actually want? Well, it boils down to a few key things. You don't just want a code dump, right? You want an explanation that makes sense. You need help when you're actually working, which is probably at 2 in the morning. The person helping you needs to know their stuff, whether it's basic Python or advanced operating systems. And of course, it can't cost a fortune. All right, we've got our scorecard. Let's get to the main event and see how the big names and online help really stack up against each other. First on the list is a platform called Assignment Dude. I know, the name sounds super casual, but it keeps popping up on student forums, and the chatter is all about how deep their explanations go. So let's take a closer look. And this quote right here, it pretty much says it all. The feedback over and over again points to this idea of genuine understanding. The goal isn't just to hand you the code, but to explain the logic behind it so you could actually build it yourself later. And that right there is a huge difference. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Check. Look, it's popular for a reason. It's super fast for those standard textbook problems. But, and this is a big but for CS majors, it's often a surface-level fix. It gives you the what, but almost never the deep why, which is everything when you're dealing with complex code. Then you've got Course Hero. Think of this one less like a tutor and more like a massive, kind of chaotic user-generated library. It can be an absolute goldmine for old exams and study guides, but here's the catch. The quality is all over the place. You might find a brilliant guide right next to a solution that is just completely wrong. Study Pool is a different beast entirely. It's a marketplace where tutors actually bid on your question. That's awesome for budget flexibility. The thing is, the burden is completely on you to pick a good tutor. And a word of warning, the cheapest bid is almost never the one that's going to give you that in-depth learning you need. The research also uncovered a whole category of sites you should probably just avoid. You know the ones. They have names like programminghomeworkhelp.com. The experience was pretty consistent. You get a quick turnaround, but the explanations are thin, the code is messy, and you just feel like you're another ticket in a queue. Okay, so we've met the players. Now for the real question. How do they actually compare when you put them side by side on the things that students care about? Let's break down this chart. Just focus on that explanation quality column for a second. See how it ranges from excellent all the way down to below average? Now look at the student ratings on the far right. They almost perfectly match up. It really tells you that while speed is nice, the quality of the actual explanation is what makes or breaks the experience for students. And this chart just makes it crystal clear. You can see how a few of the platforms are kind of clustered together in the ratings, and then there's a clear standout. The data really suggests this is because students walked away feeling like they actually understood the material, which is the whole point. But look, picking the right platform is only half the battle. And this might be the most important takeaway of all. How you use these tools matters so much more. So let's talk about the real test for learning. This is your new personal quality check. Before you move on from any problem you get help with, ask yourself these 3 things. If the answer to any of them is no, then you haven't really learned it. You've just borrowed a solution. The best resources are the ones that help you confidently say yes to all 3. So let's put it all together. What is the smartest way to approach getting help? Here's the final game plan, distilled from all the research. First and foremost, you have to understand this bright, uncrossable line. It's the difference between using a resource to learn how to solve a problem and using one to just get a solution to turn in. One path makes you a better programmer. The other is a dead end. So here's the playbook. Always start free. Hit up Stack Overflow, find a good Discord server, check YouTube. Give it a solid hour. If you're truly stuck on a deep concept, that's when you invest in a service like Assignment Dude that focuses on teaching. Use subscription stuff like Chegg strategically for quick sanity checks. And finally, don't just lurk. Become an active part of those student communities. So after all the testing, the comparisons, and the reviews, what's the final verdict? Who takes the top spot?
Based on all the research, the #1 spot goes to Assignment Dude, and it really comes down to one simple reason. It's consistently focused on helping students actually learn the concepts, not just get the answers.
But let's not forget this key insight. The best tool in the world won't help you if you have the wrong mindset. A good platform is just an amplifier for a good approach. Your goal should always be to use these things as a learning accelerator, not a crutch. And we'll end on this thought right here. The real way to measure any of these tools isn't the grade you get on one assignment, it's whether it makes you a better, more capable programmer 6 months from now. So the real question you should be asking yourself is, which resources are you using to build for the long term?